So in about 20 seconds. So we'll start with you, Elizabeth.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Elizabeth Bridges, and I live in Grass Valley, California. My state of being right now is I'm a little bit physically tired, but I feel really good and I'm happy to be here. And I want to contribute and receive.
Beautiful. Thank you. How about Jack? You're next.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jack Roddy. I am in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and I am slowly getting my day moving. So that's my state of being. And I'll pass it on to Carol.
So I'm Carol Gorlick. I'm in Irvine, California, and I had a very moving event on Thursday, and I'm recovering and in liminal space. And I'll call on Dr. David.
Hi, I'm here in Caballo, New Mexico, having some tea in my liminal stays. I'm looking forward to a rehab guy for my leg. Thank you.
Thanks. How about Jim?
What's the check-in today? Good morning, everyone.
Oh, share your name, where you are located, and your state of being in like 20 seconds or less.
Jim Rogers out of Las Cruces, New Mexico. Enjoy doing photography. And I don't know. I think I'm confused today, so I'll leave it at that.
Thank you. All right, I'm gonna just keep track. So Tom, how about you?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Tom Lemke. I'm in Santa Monica, California, and my state of being is grateful.
Thank you. How about Doug?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Doug Breckenridge. I'm currently in Estes Park, Colorado, and I am in a marathon getting my second win right now. Doing work.
Thank you. Carl.
So I'm Carl Gaitner. I live in central Illinois. Bloomington is a city about 130 miles south of Chicago, right in the middle of the state. My state of being is just open to learning from Joy. And I love her name is Joy as a success coach. I think that's perfect. So.
Thank you. How about Igno?
Hi, everybody. My name's Igno van Niekerk. I am in South Africa. It's summer here, so we've had a very hot, long day. So state of being is, I think, peaceful after getting through the day. So yes, so it's all well. I'm sitting outside in the garden with a phone because it's really hot inside.
Beautiful. Thank you. Makes us feel so international. And so, Paul, you're on mute. Just Paul, you're muted, Paul.
Working on it. My mouse isn't working. Hi, my name is Paul Vanis. I'm in frozen central Missouri. Quite the opposite of other places here, but and my state of being is pretty much happy.
Beautiful. Thank you. And I didn't introduce, I think everybody knows me, and we probably all know each other pretty well, at least where we are, but I'm Olivia Parvid, and I'm in Santa Monica, about 6 feet away from Tom. And my state of being is a bit nervous because I'm hosting in this new format and just happy to see everyone. So I will just turn it over to you. Well, let me ask you, Joy. I'll make breakout rooms. How many would you like in case we go to them? And then if we decide to not, we don't have to.
Well, I think we were just doing one-on-one, so that would be fine
Okay.
if we just pair people up.
Okay, great. All right, so I'll just work on that. So take it away, Joy. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to share my screen with slides. I believe. All right, let's share screen.
And just for recording, maybe announce, or maybe you will be, but this is where it'll be available to the public when you start your presentation.
Okay. So in a perfect world, you are seeing my slides and you are seeing me as well. Is that true? Thank you. Thank you. All right. I am Joy Harris from Joy Can Help Coaching and my online community, Joy's Oasis. And today we're going to talk about I resolve, I declare, and I align in 2026. And when I wrote this, I said this is a mindset and a meaning-based approach to wealth and prosperity for your business. And we'll have a large section on our business. And then we'll do some reflection. We'll either go into breakout rooms or we'll just reflect right here in the main room. And then I'll come back with a shorter section for our personal growth. And I have incorporated a lot of storytelling into the first part. That's why it's a little longer. So I made some slides just to keep me on track. And I'd like to talk a little bit about getting into alignment. And so let's get into alignment just with our group here. We're creating a circle, or if you please, we are creating a Brady Bunch look at all of our colleagues, associates, and friends, or maybe Hollywood Squares. I might be dating myself a little bit, but I think of us as being in a circle together. And we're going to get in alignment. And what does alignment really mean? Well, sometimes that just means quiet time. It just means time to get aligned. And we know that getting in alignment can be accomplished through meditation. And even though I have taught meditation, I'm not an expert in either type, but there's the Zen type of meditation where you clear your thoughts. You make your very best effort to take 5 minutes, 15 minutes, an hour to have thoughts come in and quickly send them out and say, I will get to you later. Right now, I'm just in a clear Zen meditation. And then there's the contemplative meditation, which says, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to think this through. And I'm not going to focus on anything else. I'm not going to allow any obstacles or interruptions. I'm going to do the contemplative type of meditation. And then there's the alignment with deep breathing. So in order to feel as though we are in this circle and we are aligned together, we could do some deep breathing. And all it really requires is 3 breaths. And for me, 3 breaths is the signal to my body that I'm ready to go within. And so I ask you now, you can close your eyes or you can keep them open. There's really no wrong way. I like to do 4 breaths in, hold for 2, and out for 6. But all we need to do is just a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And we'll do that 3 times. So I'm going to start 1. And then out. And breath 2 in. And then out. And when we do our 3rd breath in, we remember to relax our shoulders, relax our face muscles. And what we are doing, as I said, is going within and being receptive to the idea that we can resolve, we can declare, and we can affirm the things that we desire in life. So first of all, did you resolve to do something better in 2026? Now, we probably know that most of the New Year's resolutions are around fitness or financial goals. All of this presentation has to be adapted for your way of thinking. So You may not even make New Year's resolutions, and you may not make them for fitness or financial goals, but my research says that is the majority of what people resolve to do better in 2026, either their personal health or their business goals. Now, what happened is we just passed Quitter's Day. Have you heard of Quitter's Day? Quitter's Day is the second Friday in January. Already people have quit their dedication or their resolution to their goals. And there's a lot of history around Quitter's Day. I won't go into that. So if you resolve to quit smoking or quit drinking every day or quit some bad habit, then Quitter's Day is good for you. However, many people are looking at they gave up on their resolution or they gave up on their goal. And there are statistics of gym memberships to prove that people give up even in January when they have made a goal to go to the gym every day. So statistics show that very few people keep up their resolutions for many months. So what I'd like to start out talking about is our goals for wealth and prosperity. So let's define wealth. And of course, wealth is the achievement and the accumulation of your assets. But let's think about real wealth, because wealth not only includes your cash, your money, but it includes your comfort and your well-being. So that's what it takes to truly be wealthy, is to have an abundance of valuable possessions. And a lot of us think of wealth in that way. You have a car to get around in transportation, but you have a hobby car and you have a convertible and you have a van. And if you have several cars and a home and a vacation home, maybe you believe that you have a lot of wealth because you have valuable possessions and you have cash. But wealth is also a plentiful number of desirable resources. And so for me, I'll be adding a lot of my own storytelling within this. So for me, those desirable resources are friends. And they could be virtual friends, they're associates and colleagues such as yourself. And so that makes me wealthy right there to have all of you as my friends. So a life of wealth and prosperity includes your physical body, which is what we talked about. You want to have wealth in taking care of your physical body, showing up for yoga, going to the gym, as we mentioned, the walking, and making sure that you are using your wealth in your physical body. And then, of course, there's our mind. And I know most of us here are avid readers. So we're constantly filling ourselves with new information, and we're nurturing our mind to make sure that we are constantly evaluating the ideas that we learn about, and we are inviting new ideas to come to us. And then in the true wealth of body, mind, and spirit, we can look at our spiritual wealth as just a connection in any way that you believe you have spiritual health. It could be some kind of inner knowing. It could be the quiet time that we talked about earlier. It's just getting in touch with the oneness of others, or it can be getting in touch with ourselves. That's part of true wealth and having that comfort and well-being. Now, with prosperity, for me, I guess I know that I can always get more money. I can get a bigger house, or I can get more of the accumulations of the world, but I cannot get more time. I can't just buy more time. I can't bargain for it. So for me to have freedom to use my time wisely, and then to have some control over how it is spent, and some control over with whom I spend my time. That's true wealth for me. So let's say, how do we achieve wealth? And you might say, well, is it an affirmation? Is it a mindset? Does that help us achieve wealth? Or is it the feeling of satisfaction and the feeling of growth and just everyday fulfillment? Is that really what helps us feel wealthy? And is it good habits? So if you've heard me speak, you know I talk a lot about making things a habit. Forgiveness is a habit. Gratitude is a habit. So when you have good habits, does that help you achieve wealth? Well, yes, actually, all of those things help us achieve wealth. The affirmation, the mindset, and then just the general feeling, the overall good feelings, and knowing that we're setting our good habits, all of those help us align with wealth. Now, you might have thought I was going to say paid ads. That's what you need to get some more wealth. You need paid ads, or you need frequent email contact. You need to gather people's email addresses and just bombard them with frequent email. And those things might work. I'm not against those things. And going live on social media, that's very popular. And we've heard about attraction marketing and magnetic marketing. And those are the kind of things where you want people to resonate with what you teach and resonate with who you are and how you speak. You want people to really feel as though they could trust you. And so for me, my social media method is to be seen and to be known and really to be visible, because I can't be resonant with every person. Every person is not going to think, I'd like you to be my success coach. It doesn't work that way. You need to be seen, and you need to be known, and you need to be visible, or you might have the best product and you might have the best coaching on the whole internet. But if people don't know you and people haven't seen you and you're not visible, then you will not be able to attract the right customers. So one way that we are able to attract our wealth, or really able to attract anything, is to spend a little bit of time defining what we don't want. And some people really aren't clear about what they want. And it is a method to define what you don't want. So I've taken the liberty of making a good documentation here of some of the things that we don't want in general. And if all of these things don't work for you, then that's fine. But in general, people do not want to be sad unnecessarily. And so if you have a challenge yourself or a challenge in your family, you're going to be sad. And you're going to have a period of sadness. It can be anywhere from 90 seconds, and it can literally be 90 days or more. But to know how to be sad and to feel your feelings is one thing. But to make sure that you're not sad unnecessarily is a good way to look at that's something that we don't want. Now, we also don't want to be ungrateful. And we don't want to feel entitled. And we've all heard of privilege. And so that does not really benefit us to be ungrateful or to feel so entitled and privileged that we exhibit that as a bad habit. And no one wants to put in work with no results. That just pretty much should be a given. We also don't want promises to wait to have our wealth. Now, this is an example of someone being hired in the workplace, but if someone was going for a job and the description of the job said that it paid between $50 an hour and $75 an hour, and then they offered you $60 an hour, you need to be confident enough to come back with a good way of saying this, that you're not looking for promises. If you were willing to pay $50 to $75 to start, I am one who is deserving of the higher end of your range, and here's why. And the why is because you don't want the promises. If you start with us at 60, you'll eventually work up to that 25, that 75 that we talked about. Well, we're not really looking for promises. We're looking to have wealth right away. And pretty much, I'm not sure if anyone will disagree with this, but pretty much no one wants a small bank account. No one wants a small portfolio altogether. Now we're going to take a little bit more time of talking about what we don't want, because we're going to get to exactly what we do want in general. Exactly, and in general. Wait a minute. We're going to get to what we do want. So we don't want winds that dry up after one small win. And what happens here is I actually found some money on the street outside a restaurant. And my husband was ready to drive away, and I had a small windfall, but I could not in good conscience drive away. I said, let's sit out here and see if somebody comes back and is looking around for money they might have lost. Well, I went inside the restaurant and I gave my name and number and said, if anybody comes in and says that they lost some money, I have found some cash. They will have to tell me how much it is. And my husband works in this neighborhood. We'll make arrangements to get that money back. It wasn't really a lot of money, but it made me feel as though it wasn't a win that I could count on. It's just a small win, which no one claimed the money, and I was able to keep it. But that kind of win is something that's going to dry up. Now, another thing we don't want is we don't want limits on our wealth, our prosperity, our abundance. And we certainly don't want self-imposed limits. And I think that's what we have to look at the most. Are these limits reasonable? Do I have to drive 35 in this area when you said I could drive 55 somewhere else? Well, there are limits, and maybe those are not unreasonable. But think about the self-imposed limits. Is that really reasonable? And certainly, we don't want to get our wealth by hurting others. And we don't want to con others or cheat or trick others. That does not make us feel very good about our wealth. And again, we don't want a one-time windfall, because the statistics show that even people who win big in the lottery, and I'm talking about people who win $1 million, if they don't know how to manage their money, or they don't make an effort to manage their money, they get a one-time windfall and it disappears in the first year to where they're right back to where they were before, because they assumed that this big windfall could happen again and again and again. So we're not looking for a one-time windfall. And we don't want wealth that disappears. So that is a good way to look at the things that we don't want. And again, that is a method that is taught to help you define what you do want. So what we want to do is to set the intentions for what we desire. And we're going to go with a belief system that we actually deserve the best in life. And again, the best in life is however you define it. And as a success coach, that's what I do. I ask people to define success. And that success is very different for all of the people with whom I have worked over the years. But today, I would like to teach you a method to wealth and prosperity. And I will give you the credits at the end of the my sources that I have used for this material. And some of this wealth and prosperity material comes from several wealthy gurus. But what I'd like to talk about is how this method worked for me. So we're going to look at this chronologically. Some of you know parts of my story, but in 2017, I was gainfully employed, and I had been a six-figure earner in the corporate world for a while. I had been a six-figure earner, but I had a car accident in the fourth quarter of 2017. Now, cutting the story short, I went to rehab and I came home from rehab in the first quarter of 2018. And then I had 10 months of physical therapy at home. But I didn't get a car until 2019. So again, we're following this chronologically. In 2019, I got a car and I went out and I started, feeling alive again. I had to relearn how to walk. I had several physical things with this car accident. And in the end of 2019, the beginning of 2020, I had joined a drumming group. So between a drumming session, we were all sharing, we were talking about what we were going to be doing in 2020. And one of my friends said, well, now she and her daughter can't go to Italy because Italy is closed. I'm like, Italy is closed? That's not a thing. And then the other woman, who was clearly from England, said, oh, me mom has not been out of the house. They're not allowed out of their house. Well, I had never heard of COVID-19. So I had just, like I said, I got a car, I was going out and getting involved in things, and there was a shutdown. And in my mind, I thought, well, this shutdown will probably last about 6 weeks. I was a little incorrect about that. So I spent a lot of 2020 getting online, building my coaching business back up, which I had to abandon completely. I gave my clients, I had a full-time job, but I was coaching people on the side. And I had given those clients over to another coach and said, I'm permanently, giving these coaches, these clients to you. So what happened long about 2021 is I became stir crazy. And of course, it was nice to have the money and the income because I was no longer a six-figure earner. And you could look at my where it shows like a Social Security or something, where it shows your income year after year. I literally had zero. I had zero. So along the time of 2021, of course, I wanted the money, I wanted the wealth, but I also wanted to just get back out there. I wanted the satisfaction. I wanted the fulfillment. I wanted to do something. So what I did is this method that I'm going to teach to you. And in 2021, I used this method. And on my phone, I have a fancy phone, so it tells me who's calling. And someone was calling that I had worked for several years ago. But I answered it. I was like, wonder why they're calling me. And they were calling me to see if I was available for a project. Now, all of my work was remote anyway, so I didn't have to explain that I can't come into the office. And it was a nationwide project, so they wouldn't have expected me to go in anywhere. But they were looking, they said, we have a project manager, we have a delivery manager, we have a technical manager. What we would want you to be is the finance manager. And we need someone that knows how to use Plan View. And that's an application which helps with the finances of a project. And I had that on my resume, and I did that for them. And it involves resource leveling. So this project was going to continue for a while, and they wanted me to do resource leveling across the phases of the project and keep track of the budget and revise the budget. So I said, how much does it cost and how long do you think the project will be? I mean, how much does it pay? And so they told me what it paid, and I got dollar signs in my eyes, not really knowing if I could do a 40-hour-week job again yet. And he said, well, it'll be anywhere from 6 weeks to 6 months. I thought, well, even if it's just 6 weeks, I can do that. I would like to do that. So I ended up getting that position. And he said, after the first 6 weeks, you'll give us a report and you'll give us a plan. Well, after the first 6 weeks, I gave them a report and I gave them a plan, and they could have had someone else that was going to run with that plan, but they said, we would like you to stay. And the project turned out to be exactly 6 months, and that was fine. That was my expectation. And if you can imagine having your income be zero and then getting a corporate salary for 6 months, I was in heaven. Now, again, I had stopped using this method because I had already gained, I felt like the method worked. And one of the clients that was on the project called me and said, well, we understand that your assignment is complete. We'd like to know if you'd like to work for us. We have a project just starting. And it turned out to be a Blue Cross Blue Shield plan. And I have worked for 17 Blue Cross Blue Shield plans in my career. So I had the background, I had everything on the resume they wanted. And it turned out to be 10 months. So in 2022, I had 10 months of, again, a corporate salary. And we're talking very happy there. However, when you work for a big enterprise or a big corporation, every division is not the same. And this particular division was having morale problems. And I thought they were trying a little too hard. So when they said, well, in the 10 months you were here, you implemented something in September for the project, you implemented something in October, and the project is just about complete, but we don't have another project for you right now. And I was like, oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't know how much more of this corporate life and corporate world that I could take. However, like I said, I did enjoy the wealth and prosperity, and it wasn't that bad, or I would have left. But I did credit this technique that I'm going to use or show you with having people call me out of the blue. I did have to update my resume and I did have to send it, but I didn't have to have multiple interviews and put my resume out there and weed through the interviews I wanted to take or those I did not want to take. I felt that this is the method that helped me get that wealth and prosperity in those years of my life. And actually, right now, I feel like I could use it again. So that's why I've revived this. And you can watch and watch all of us if we drift easily into wealth and prosperity. So I'd like to also tell you Greg Braden's story. It's a little shorter. And if you follow Greg Braden or have heard of him, you might have heard this story before. But Greg Braden lives in New Mexico. And Greg Braden was in the diner and he had a Native American friend. And they got to talking and they said, this is the worst drought that we have had in years. And we are seeing that the crops are going to die if we don't get some rain. And we have seen that the animals don't have enough water. We're losing our animals. We're having to spend all this time watering our crops and losing some crops, trying to just maintain a small kitchen garden in our yard, much less try to keep all of our crops alive. And then there are the impacts of the dry earth in the town. And the Native Americans said, Greg, I would like to go out to this sacred space that my people have had for years, and I would like to do something about the rain. Would you like to go with me? And Greg said, oh my goodness, I would love to go with you. So they got in the car and drove out in the desert, and they went really far out into the desert. And all of the time they were there, they were lamenting that the crops didn't have enough water and the animals and the people. I mean, wells were drying up. It was such a drought. So what happened is they drove and drove all across the desert, and they finally came to a place where he pulled the car over and they walked a little while. And Greg is wondering, where are we going? I'm pretty excited. Are we going to do a rain dance? Is there some kind of rain ritual? Am I going to have a sneak preview to what the Native Americans have done to bring rain all these years? And what happened is they went over a little bluff and there was a clearing and a little opening to the clearing. So Greg realized this is the destination. So he didn't see any drums or any rattles or know what type of ritual to expect. And the Native American went into this sacred space and he took off his shoes. So Greg Braden took off his shoes. And the guy sat down on the ground, and Greg sat down on the ground. They sat cross-legged and they were quiet. Greg opened his eyes every once in a while to see what the guy was doing, and he was sitting there quietly, some nice deep breathing. And for what Greg could see, he didn't know what was going on. There was no ritual. He couldn't tell what this Native American was doing. So they sat there for quite a while, and then the Native American got up and put his shoes on. So Greg got up and put his shoes on, and they walked back out of that little exit to this sacred space that obviously had been there for many years. There had been many ceremonies or rituals or ways there that people came for probably more things than just rain. But as they walked back to the car, Greg said, "Did you pray for rain?" I said, "No, not exactly." He said, "Well, what did you do? I thought we went there to do something about the rain." He said, "Well, as I sat there, first of all, I imagined my hair getting wet. And I imagined raindrops on my shoulders. And I literally imagined the crops getting enough rain that they're blooming and they're alive and they are green again, or whatever color they're supposed to be. The crops are reacting to the beauty of rain. And the animals are flourishing because their troughs are full and they have just the right amount of rain. And it's a beautiful feeling." He said, "I also imagined the smell of rain. And even for me, I know I like the smell after a rain. Some people can smell a rain coming. Some people like the smell during a rainstorm. And I like the smell after a rain." So this is what Greg thought, all right, well, that's what he did. The guy said, "Oh, I didn't want to focus on lack. I didn't want to go in there and say all the things I don't have. Very likely that would have attracted more of that to me. No, I went in there thinking about the things that I do want. And the things that I do want are healthy crops, healthy animals, and the earth not to be so dry and parched." So they went back to town. They thought they would get some coffee, and they went in and just talked about regular things. And don't you know, on the way out of the restaurant, it started to rain. And it rained so that the crops got their water and the animals got their water. And that's a story that Greg Braden tells because it shows the intention of identifying what you don't want and trying to be really clear about what you do want, and then being in alignment with what you do want. And being in alignment with what you want actually makes sure that you're not focusing on lack, you're focusing on your actual desire. Okay, so let's talk about the actual method. And for this first sentence or fragment of a sentence, this is something you can use 100 times a day. I am so happy and grateful that. I am so happy and grateful that breakfast was hot. The toast was not burned. I'm so happy and grateful that my home is warm. I'm so happy and grateful that so many things. So what we're going to do is we're going to create now the things that we do want. And I'm going to go through this sentence by sentence. I am so happy and grateful that. Now, as I mentioned, I'm going to give you the sources for this original thought. And I'm so happy and grateful that large sums of money come to me easily and quickly. Now, easily is up to you. Do you want to stand all day? Do you want to work outdoors? Do you want to work at a desk or an office? It's up to you to decide how these large sums of money come to you easily. But we're going to go back to it comes to us quickly because we're not looking for promises. We're not looking for this is wealth that's going to come to you later. We're looking for large sums of money that are going to come to me easily and quickly. And then we're going to look for all of the methods and ways. We're going to be very specific. And even if we only get a little bit of this, we are looking for large sums of money to come in increasing quantities or recurring quantities. So again, back to my story, I had zero income. And even if I would have had 6 weeks of corporate income, I would have been very happy with that. But it was recurring income that came 6 full months of what they said. It could be from 6 weeks to 6 months. And then it was followed right up easily and quickly with another client that wanted my services for 10 months. So I was pretty excited about that and the belief that that really happened. And then it's also good to put this in here that your large sums of money come from multiple sources. And so this is a way to look at it as though we're getting money from expected sources and unexpected sources. We're going to be open for all of it. And we want this to be on a continuous basis. So it's good to put that in there. We want this large sums of money to come to us easily and quickly on a continuous basis. And we want this to be in the best interest of all. So we really don't want to learn how to rob a bank. And we really don't want to con people. We don't want to trick people. And we don't want to have any kind of underhanded dealings. We want the money to come to us in the best interest of all. And the most joyful part of this is that when we get this large sums of money, it is money that we get to keep, that we can give freely, and money that we can spend how we choose. And this is money that we can invest in joyfully. So what happened is I learned this affirmation and I wrote it. And I didn't write it out of desperation. I didn't write it with this better come true. I simply wrote it and believed it. And I aligned that I am so happy and grateful that large sums of money come to me easily and quickly in increasing and recurring quantities from multiple sources on a continuous basis. And in the best interest of all, that I get to keep, give, spend, and invest joyfully. And see, what really happened there is that I believed it, and I didn't write it 100 times a day. I didn't recite it 100 times a day. I did write it out, and I did feel it, and I did believe that I deserved it and that it would come to me. I just believed that it would come to me. And as I said, you heard my story. And is this really the result of it? I don't know, but I can believe that being in alignment with accepting the great wealth that I received is part of the key, being in alignment with it. So what we can do, and I've seen this in the front of many books where they want you to make a declaration. And I've made one here. Well, no, I have used other people's suggestions here. And our declaration could be, I now declare and decree that I exist in a reality of abundance, and that large sums of money come to me with miraculous speed and perfect timing, and all financial channels are wide open. So I believe that abundance flows to me from expected and unexpected sources, and that time compression is active. Weeks and months collapse into hours and days. I am a powerful money magnet, attracting prosperity at increasing rates. I deserve this abundance. I welcome it. I receive it now. And this is my decree. And so it is. And you write that out. You write your own decree according to a lot of the information we've received here today. You write your own decree and then you sign it. You sign it. As I said, it's in the front of some of Julia Cameron's books. I believe it's in Don Michael Ruiz and books. And they ask you to make a decree to have an open mind to learn the material that they're talking about. So as always, we accept this or something better. So when you write your decree, you want to be as specific as you can be. However, you really want to say, I would like this abundance and this wealth, and I accept this or something better. So we've talked a lot about being in alignment with wealth and prosperity. And so I put together 2 questions that we could use in a breakout room. And I don't know how many folks we have on the call today. Looks like we have 14
Yeah, we
people.
yeah. Oh, okay. So I probably need to add, I think Monty showed up. Hi, Monty. I think that's
Okay, great. Great. Well, the way I had structured this according to our recommended format is that we do some reflection on the first part, which was about wealth and prosperity. And depending on how much we want to reflect on this, that's fine. But the second part is shorter, and we would also do a reflection on that as well. So what do we want to do, Olivia? Do we want to go into those breakout rooms?
I think it kind of makes sense for this really specific, in my opinion. And then we can do maybe the second one as a group, if
Oh,
that.
okay, perfect. All right.
Yeah.
So what we're reflecting on is, did you resolve, did you declare, or did you affirm anything for your business and financial growth? And again, that would be that setting New Year's resolutions, and maybe you don't call them that. And maybe your financial goals were on a spreadsheet and they were very distinct and they were very had a formula to how much you wanted to earn in the first quarter or the first month. But what I'm asking us to share in our room is, did you set a financial intention for 2026? And then the next part of that is, are you in alignment to achieve your intentions for 2026?
All
So
right.
if we are ready then, Olivia?
Yeah, so do you want to do how many minutes do you think? Um, how long is your second teaching?
It's much shorter, so it is not noon yet. It's much shorter.
Should we do 10 minutes in the breakout? Does that sound?
Okay, that
All right.
sounds good.
Okay.
And
All
thank you
right.
for coordinating that.
So do 5 minutes apiece, or just share as you'd like, and we'll give you a 1 minute warning. And so I'll open the rooms. Thank
Thank
you.
thank you. All
Yeah.
right, I'm being put into a room. Oh, stop my screen sharing. Well, of course, that makes sense. All right. Stop and join.
Oh, you are. Okay.
You have to go on my.
Yeah, go on your headphones, sorry. So, let's see.
Good morning, Carol. Okay, there I am. Good morning, Carol. And Lily and I are on the same microphone, so I had to put my earphones in.
Oh, shoot.
So do you have your declaration together for 2026?
Okay. Oh. Hi, let me get my headphones. I I didn't, or I had, as the person assigning, it wouldn't let me put myself in a room. So I put you in a room alone, and I was going to try to join Monty, or you could join Monty, and I don't need to go in a room, whichever.
Whichever you want. When nobody showed up, I wondered if it was
Yeah, I'm
purposely that way. I
it
thought, I'll come
it
back and see if she says, go back,
it
go back.
I was gonna text you just now, and I was trying to figure out, I can't set the time. I guess I had to do that ahead of time. So let me put my timer on just so I have that going. I guess I'll do 8 minutes, and then okay. So I would like, maybe I'll just move Monty to the main session and he can talk to us.
Okay.
Yeah,
You know
because
how to
I
do that?
can't,
Whatever you want
I
to do.
I think I just did, but because I can't figure out how to put myself into his room.
I know a lot of times the organizer doesn't go into a room.
Right,
And
right.
again, I'm not an expert at that.
No, me either. Um, but
I think you had over 80 people in there when I remember
I'm
correctly.
trying to. I think he's getting an invitation to come to the main room, but I'm not sure.
No, you came up perfectly smoothly, so
Let
it was great.
me also, maybe I can text him private. Oh, here he comes. Hey, Monty. Hi.
Hi, Monty.
I'm doing breakouts in this. I haven't done them for a long time. And I was trying to join you, but it wouldn't let me. So we just decided to bring you back, and we'll just do it here if you'd like, and we'll get the pro to coach us.
Yes,
You,
I was all by my lonesome.
I know, and I knew that, and I was just gonna try to go there with you, and then I couldn't figure out how to do it. So anyway, um, so I'll go first. If
Please.
I, it's funny, I had a goal, and it wasn't financial, but it was sort of financial, which is that I wanted to have 250 students take my course that I'm building on Rizuku, and I could
Hang on one second.
figure
I
out.
have to move into the other
Oh.
room because the computer's looking dead.
Oh, I thought Tom's here and he was moving, and I was just making sure it wasn't too loud.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so based on the going cost, I could figure out a dollar amount. And yeah, I love this whole teaching, and the great Braden story is really powerful. So yeah, that was the goal. And then the second question was how I'm doing on it. Was that it?
Are you in alignment to meet that goal?
Yeah. Interesting. I think there's stuff blocking me, and I'm planning next week to have Vanessa teach and maybe work on some of that, because I think there's something in the way. I think I'm in alignment. I've done work with positive aspects. I don't know if you've heard of that, where you write down, and I've used it in the past, and I need to do it for this, where it's based on the teachings of Abraham, where you write down all the things that you're doing now because you've completed what it is you wanted to achieve. You pretend it's completed, and you go, now that and I used this when I was writing a book, when I was really resistant, and I just said, now that my book is done, I'm enjoying all the reviews, like speaking about it and getting excited. So I think
I don't know.
that's a nice
That's my
way of figuring out if there's something in the way with my alignment.
and
Yeah.
I
So
think I'm.
how about you, Monty? Do you?
Well, Doug and I, with the startup in Vuja Day, basically said we want to break even by the end of the year. So that is under the current environment that we're operating in, a pretty big challenge. because people are very reluctant to spend any money because they don't know what's going to happen this afternoon, let alone this morning. And right now I'm in Salt Lake City. Friends that I have set up a ski week, so came in last Wednesday, leaving Wednesday. And so I basically said, okay, Salt Lake City, the Mormon church. So I have been running all over trying to make connections in the Mormon church because they have 80,000 missionaries around the world. Something like Vujade could have just tremendous impact in that network. And so it's rather interesting trying to figure out how you work your way into a organization like the LDS. And so I've sent emails based upon people that I sort of, I met at their office building on Friday. And I haven't checked my emails yet to see if I got any back. But as I was sitting there getting ready to send out this email, I was listening to a pianist and two violinists playing in the Joseph Smith building. And just a beautiful little recital going on. And two missionaries came up and they introduced themselves. They were curious what I was doing. And of course, I'm here to go skiing, but I'm wearing a suit with tie and so on and so forth to sort of fit into the culture. And we got into like a 90-minute conversation. It was just, it was great. And before it was all over, I invited them to do Vujade, and they invited me to go to church yesterday morning with them. So at 7:45 yesterday morning, I was in the sisters service, and it was really quite interesting because about 15, 16 of them got up and talked about their missionary and tremendous amount of reflection and so on and so forth.
Beautiful.
And in the process, the president of the Salt Lake City mission, he saw me and he had to come and introduce himself. So what I'm chasing him is now him because the new temple is going to open in April of 2027. And for 6 months, they're going to open it up to the public. It'll be the first time in hundreds of years that it's ever been open to the public. They're expecting 600,000 people a day to visit the new temple. So it's sort of like, you guys really need what we're building here. So I'm just pursuing anything I can anywhere I go.
Very resourceful. That's great. Yeah.
So I was talking to some Mormons here last night, and their words were, "You have a lot of guts to enter into this system."
Well, I would take that as a compliment.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
so are we going to break even this year? I have no clue. Are we working hard to try to do that? Absolutely.
Nice.
Well,
great.
you have the spreadsheets, you have the gumption, you have the guts, you have a plan and a method, and now it is just to relax and believe. Simply allow. Don't make your own limiting beliefs or anything. I mean, that was part of the message. I don't know if you were here for the whole thing, but it was just simply to be in alignment with a connection to those people, an honest and open connection, which for me would be very different. I don't mean I wouldn't be honest or open with them, but I don't know any now. So yeah, it does take a lot of guts to do what you're doing, and that could have very, very good results.
Well, I mean, it's you know what, the worst they can say is no.
Working with Olivia, actually.
Yeah.
And it's a little harder for them to say yes, because that's 3 letters and no is only 2 letters. But I can help them hopefully say yes.
So I just put out the 1-minute warning to the group. So just
do they just automatically start coming back when you do that warning?
Well, you know, I didn't set it up correctly, so I had to do it artificially. And so then in a minute, which let me time that, I have to then pull them back in. Yeah.
Okay, well, I think
So I
that's
just set
perfect.
that. Yeah. So thank you for sharing that, Monty. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, and I am holding the highest consciousness that if that is what's true and right and really good for the Vujade world, that it will happen without any limits. It will happen naturally, easily, and quickly. I'm holding that as a high consciousness for you.
Well, we hope
and
your
when
high
you
consciousness is going to prove out.
and I love when you said, Joy, it's like this or something better. So if it's not meant to be, it doesn't work. You just know you've put it out there, and
Oh, yeah.
something better is just around the corner.
Well, and the key is in this world is getting visibility.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's thousands of ways of getting visibility.
Well, Tom is working on getting his new book into the oh, sorry, I just screwed up here. The Missouri Synod. He's got connections there, which is a huge for Lutherans.
Okay.
So if we get some traction, maybe we'll have some, what is it, like leverage. Anyway, I'm gonna
There's
call
going to be a lot of
everybody.
wealth and prosperity to report in this group. I feel it now.
Oh, okay. I just learned I closed all the rooms, so they have 60 seconds to come back. So they'll start
Okay.
popping in. Yeah. Oh, I got through the breakouts.
Well, I haven't done it for a while, and like I said, my Zoom is all different. All these little toggle switches is different than the way it used to perform. So thank you for doing this.
Oh, you're welcome. Is it now like did you get the business version of it, or is it
No,
just
I didn't do anything. I didn't know
Oh.
that I would have any different rules or regulations. And I put my avatar on a lot when I have the timer up in the screen so people can see the timer and then they can see my avatar. If I go off camera, they can't see the timer. And I looked to put my avatar on and it was a toggle switch. It was just a little
funny.
line. And that's like, I didn't do that on purpose.
Well, we'll get we'll get better at this. So welcome back, everyone. Let's see. Oh, here we go. I guess it closed. All right. Well, thank you all. So Joy, would you like to continue? And then at the end we'll get some feedback. Yeah.
All right. All right. Well, if we're ready, I will go to the second portion, which means I have to share again. Okay. And there it is. So I assume it's going to bring me to the beginning of the presentation. So I will have to, oh no, I guess I'll just have to speed on through. So we're going to go to where it says reflection, declaration, reflection. I hope you all did some good sharing. Now in this second part, so thank you and welcome back. Thank you for sticking with me. So in this second part, we're going to resolve, we're going to declare, and we're going to align in 2026 to say basically, I have the mindset that I am worthy, I am enough, and I am made of a healthy dose of self-love and joy. So really, this is the foundation for the wealth and prosperity. I didn't really know how the timing would go today. If we ended up only talking about wealth and prosperity, that would have been fine. I would hope that you would invite me back to talk about self-love and joy. But that's a lot of what I'm about. I named my business Joy Can Help, and it is the feeling of joy that can help. Of course, I'd like to think that I can help as well, but the reason why I talk so much about joy is to allow joy to come in and allow joy to be real. So just like we can start all of our prosperity sentences and all of the ways that we talk to ourselves, we can start out everything with, I am so happy and grateful that. I am so happy and grateful that. Well, this is another one. Again, I have credits. We're going to roll the credits at the end. This is another one that you can start with. In the infinity of life, where I am right now, all is perfect, whole, and complete. And what that simply means is I may not recognize the perfection. I may not understand the lessons that I'm learning right now, but I am affirming that where I am right now, life is perfect, whole, and complete. So I like to think about every day as a new choice. But in the material that I used, it says each moment of my life is new and fresh and vital. And this is a new day. I am a new me. And the way I personally interpret that is I can choose every day. I can choose to snap at somebody. I can choose to not apologize. I can choose to be rude. And I can choose to be who my highest and best self is. And every day I can choose again. And if I was rude yesterday, I can choose today to be of a higher consciousness. And I can choose every day to be a new me. And one of the things that we have control of is our thoughts. And we have the ability to think differently if it's called for. We have the ability to speak differently. And that's some of those life lessons that we learn by thinking, well, this is not perfect. This is not whole and complete. And then you realize the lesson that you learn allows you to think differently and speak and act differently. And that's some of what we learn from loving ourselves and accepting self-love and joy. So it is a delight to plant new seeds, and these seeds will become my new experiences. So just as I said, I'll bet this crowd is full of people who read very often, if not every single day, and they nourish themselves with new material and new thoughts and reading new authors and learning a little bit more. But by planting these seeds become our new experiences. And we all, again, have that choice. We have the choice of what path we want to go down and how we want to be and how we want to show up in the world. So part of this affirmation is I plant the seeds that grow an endless supply of love and joy. And what I like to say is, for joy, especially, and love, we don't have to save some for others. There's plenty to go around. You may have all the joy that you choose because it isn't in short supply. There is an endless supply of joy and love. And when you plant the seeds that you are going to radiate joy and love, then you're on the track to attract more joy and more love. So I love myself, and I fill all rooms, including virtual rooms, with the vibration of joy and love, so that all who enter this circle that we created, so that all who enter, including myself, will feel love and be nourished by it. And this is really a big one because some people can't really say, I love myself. I love myself. I love my body, all of it. And it might not fit the weight chart, but I love it just the same. My hair might have gone totally gray. I love it just the same. But I love myself. And what I strive to do is to have that high vibration that fills the rooms, that fills all the rooms with love and joy. And it also radiates to me so that I can feel love and be nourished by it. Now, I'm not going to read this whole thing because this was shorter, and this is just a way to remind you that every day is a new day. And literally, the way this is written, every moment is a new moment, and you can choose again, and you can choose again, and you can choose to be who you want to be. So this is a new day, and I am a new me. And again, we have the ability to change our thoughts. And we can think differently, we can act and speak differently if we so choose. And then It is a delight to plant these seeds. I plant the seeds that grow at an endless supply of love and joy. And then this part down here, I love myself. I hope everyone can say that. And I hope you can say it until you mean it. And maybe you all mean it now. But I love myself. And I'm consciously aware of wanting to radiate that love and that joy. And I radiate the vibration of love so that all who enters, including myself, will feel love and nourishment. So I promised we would roll the credits. We're going to have plenty of time to share. This wraps up in about 15 minutes. So I'd like to hear what happened in your breakout rooms or what reflections you might have about the material that I've presented today. And I'd like to give the thanks to Bob Proctor. And Bob Proctor is a guru. He's not with us anymore, but he is the one who designed the original foundation for the wealth and prosperity affirmation that I shared today. And then Brian Scott elaborated on it and made it even more specific. It's not just large sums of money that you get to keep, but it's large sums of money that you get to keep or spend or donate or invest. And Brian Scott has his own YouTube channel that's full of positive thoughts. And the reason why I don't want to direct you directly there, it's very comprehensive. And this affirmation, he has it on an 8-hour track where you can listen to it while you're sleeping. And then at other times, because he's had this for years, other times he says it's not necessary to write this 100 times. Just write it once and believe it, then maybe write it again the next day. But Brian Scott is a source of wisdom. And then I wrote Bob Baker and Pookie. His wife Pookie is from Hawaii. And I think there's a lot of Bob Bakers out there. So Bob Baker also has that original wealth and prosperity affirmation boiled down to about 10 words. Now, because I love it so much, I love the full thing. I'm willing to write the full thing and to believe it. So those are my 3 sources for the wealth and prosperity information. And then I'm glad we got to talk a little bit about self-love and joy and inviting that into your life. And most of that comes, well, all of it comes from Louise Hay's book, You Can Heal Your Life. But I did truncate some of it because for me, every page could be a workshop. I love that book. There are so many affirmations and thoughts and ways to give up the past and accept that the past happened and you've learned from it and you're ready to move on. There's just so many pages. In fact, I've taught from that book before. But that material was for Louise Hay, the author of You Can Heal Your Life. She also is no longer with us. She was very popular in the 80s and 90s. And this material was developed and curated by Joy Harris. I'm Joy Harris, a success coach with Joy Can Help Coaching and the Joy's Oasis community. So I had prepared a reflection, and this reflection is, did you resolve, declare, or affirm anything related to fitness, health, or self-care for the new year? Meaning, did you set an intention for the new year? And then question 2 is, are you in alignment to achieve your intentions for 2026? So
Thank you.
based on time, we don't need to go back into a breakout room, right, Olivia?
Yeah, what I was thinking too, because we have 15 minutes left, is to have people as they're finishing up, because we were going to invite people to share maybe what they loved about the presentation, and then maybe what you want to set as an intention for the following week, and maybe a quick gratitude. So why don't we just combine it so that we make sure we end on time?
Sounds
And
perfect.
yeah, so I could call on people. Maybe do you want to stop sharing, or do
I
you?
will find that button, won't I?
And if anybody wants to go first, raise your hand. Otherwise, I might voluntold you. Um,
Alrighty then.
yeah.
I am going to stop share.
Jack, I saw you came off mute. Are you wanting to go first, do you think?
Click
Oh.
on your picture and find the controls.
I'd be happy to wait until someone else goes. That's fine.
Okay, usually there's a stop share somewhere.
No.
That's funny. Well, if people want to just slide your screen, you can see everyone and the slides will get small. I don't know if, anyway, yeah, but why don't we just start? So nobody would like to start here? Come on. Really? Well, I'll go first. Oh, Tom? Yeah, go ahead, Tom.
All right. Well, first of all, Joy, thank you. That was really, really inspiring. I loved everything you said. And I am going to start doing what you did. I did some screen captures of some of your slides, which I hope you don't mind. And I have a goal very clear in my head for 2026, but I didn't attach any financial intentions to that. So I learned a lot. Thank you. It was really, really beautiful. So thank you. And I'm grateful for you being
I'll call
here
you
today.
back in about 20 minutes. No problem. Okay, bye.
Okay, Paul, I'm going to assign you next since we heard that.
Uh, let's see. Yeah, I'm discombobulated, which is typical for me. That was a call from a friend who's in the hospital. Okay, and I had to say, call you back later.
Yeah.
And new software, my computer now does differently, and my phone does differently than they were a week ago.
Seems like a thing. So did you have a plan for 2026? Anything you want to manifest?
The marvelous thing for me about this, and it was absolutely marvelous, super duper Joy, thank you. I went a whole lot of places that I didn't expect that I was going to go, that were somewhat familiar in many unbelievably echoing chamber ways. No, if I think of a dollar sign goal for the year, I didn't have one. I don't have one because it so turns out that I'm comfortable enough, with where I am. But on the other hand, my son's problem that I can't go into.
We have to be brief here because we got a lot more people before
Yeah.
10 minutes.
So this is very valuable for me, and I will be busily engaged in a lot of stuff as a result.
Awesome. Thank you. And I'll just say too, if you want to share and don't feel like you want to do the whole thing, just have a gratitude or what you loved. But we only have 10 minutes and we have quite a few people. Anybody want to even just share a gratitude? How about Carl? And
Yeah,
then Dave,
I can be
and then
brief.
Dave.
So,
Yeah.
Joy, loved your whole presentation, everything going forward, and the heartfelt message and intelligent message you had to offer. Perfectly named Joy. What I want to say is that was extremely helpful for me and others here is you talked about financial goals, including concepts of comfort and well-being, is almost inclusive. So even if you're someone, because I feel like I'm pretty comfortable financially now, and others might be, but the idea of even greater comfort, peace of mind, deeper, well-meaning relationships, that is definitely on my radar for 2026. And look at things that what any limiting factor might have is kind of resolve those, dissolve those, and go forward. So, but yeah, so really financial health is investment in comfort and well-being as well. And I think that was such a strong takeaway. So thank you for that.
Thank you. And David, yeah.
I'm going to pass it to Igno.
Ah, that was clever. Big no, you're up. Oh, you wrong button, but close.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yeah, we can't see
Yes.
you, but we can hear you.
Okay, let's just switch on the video, see where I am. Right. For my First of all, thank you, David, for the one-on-one in the small group. So I appreciate that. And for me, thanks, Joy. It made me think I did not go along the lines of finances. I thought very much along the lines of health and gratitude because I think it applies in that same way. So what I would like to attract is a healthy life and things which I can control. So I thought along those lines as you were talking about the finance part. So thanks, David, for passing that to me. I will just gladly so there's another appreciation. Thank you. I'll pass it on to Elizabeth.
Oh, thanks.
Hi, Joy, thank you so much for your presentation. That was really just a beautiful, holistic point of view. I always feel like for me, money has very little to do with the amount in my bank account and really more about my own feelings of safety and security. I have a very interesting situation financially, and I won't go into it because there's not enough time. But I really appreciate you, Joy, and I appreciate your presentation very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Who else
Happy to
would like?
go.
Okay, thanks,
Hey,
Jack.
Joy, thank you very much for your presentation. You're reminding me of my readings with Bob Proctor years ago. And I met Greg Braden when he was in his 30s, when he put out his first book. I met him at a workshop. And what a great guy he is. It's nice to see some of the mentors that you are using in your world just by some of the people that you mentioned in your presentation. I appreciate today, Joy, because of my goal this quarter and all of this year to bring more business in locally in my local area. So I have some specific goals about my networking locally to develop my local business in a greater level. And I have specific goals along that. So thank you, Joy, for your presentation and the tips that you've given to all of us. Okay, that's all I have right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jack. And one of the things Ken says is when we're finished, we just say aho if you'd like to honor the Native American circle just for fun. But anything is fine. Anyone else? How about Carol? What do you? Just a gratitude. You just have to get off mute. You're on mute. Hope you don't mind me picking on you.
I agree with all the accolades. I can't believe your name is Joy. And your mother must have known something.
I want to see the birth certificate.
Yeah. I was particularly struck at the beginning where you focused on what you don't want. And I want more. Who's going to go next?
I'll go
Monty.
next.
Oh,
Who's that?
Um,
Oh,
Thank you,
Jim.
Joy. Nice presentation. Always a good reminder of similar philosophies I've followed for many years, yet I still find that I need reinforcement to actually practice it. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. How about Doug or Monty? I think that's
I'll jump in.
thanks.
Joy, thanks. It wasn't that it was anything particularly new. I like Carol, I liked it on the don't focus, but it was great just to kind of synthesize and kind of reset the intentions for this year. So I really appreciate that. It just